reasons why I removed my 2-inch leveling spacers from the front of my 96 Dodge Ram. And I'm also going to give you some quick tips on how to install or remove these, because I think in the first video I did it the lengthy way, and you actually don't even have to remove the wheels. So here we go. All right, so the couple reasons I took these things out. Anytime I had a slight load in the bed, or I had my car trailer on there, or any trailer for that matter, this thing was squatting in the back and it looked like it was severely overloaded. Quite frankly, the truck actually sits pretty nice from the factory. I have the spacers out right now and it's actually on a slight decline. When it's level, it sits a little bit lower in the front, but you know, I think it looks great from the factory. The second reason is, after installing them, I did feel that the ride was a little bit harsher. Not hugely noticeable, but definitely on the highway, I feel like the ride quality suffered a little bit along with the braking. Now keep in mind, you don't need a spring compressor to do this job. There are videos of guys doing it without them, but these springs get huge once they're unsprung, and quite frankly, I think it's tougher that way. And if you are gonna do it, actually, whether you're doing it or not, it's really a great idea to loosen the bolts, all 4 bolts on your upper and lower control arms, because otherwise you can tear those bushings. But if you do it the way I'm going to show you, you really don't have to do that, because it doesn't put such a huge strain on them. And a quick safety note here, these springs are extremely dangerous when they're under compression. So I do suggest getting a chain or something like this, wrap it around and bolt it to a sturdy surface. And then same thing, wrap a chain or something equivalent around the spring, bolt it down through there, so that way if this thing does go flying out, it's not gonna take your head off or anything. Do you have to do that? No, but I definitely suggest doing so. And of course, doing this job, it's a great opportunity to replace your front shocks too. Mine aren't that old and they seem to still work fine though. All right, now I'm going to give you a brief description on the method I used to put my factory spacers back in. I'm not going to take mine back out because I've already done this job, but we're going to see if these little Amazon spring compressors can actually hold up to this spring. So here we go. Here's the method I used. I put a block behind the rear wheel and set the parking brake. Then you come in here with a spring compressor, whether you're using this style or this style here that I've already put in there, but there's plenty of room to get in here. If you got to turn your wheel to get some more space, you can do that. But come in here and before jacking the vehicle up, set your spring compressor up and then tighten these bad boys down. Okay, after gradually tightening those down, you got to alternate between them. I've got that spring somewhat compressed, but the truck load is still on it. Of course, they do have this little safety thing that can go between them, but I'm not using that right now, so we'll just throw the safety part out of there. At this point, remove the 3 nuts holding this shock tower on. You got one on the back side under the hood. Next, come down on the front and remove the 4 15mm bolts holding your sway bar bushings up, and let your sway bar dangle down like that. Then at this point, you're going to come under the front of the frame right here where it's nice and beefy, and I'm going to use this jack with a block of wood, and I have a tall jack stand as well, but you're going to jack the front of that frame up and watch what happens. All right, and after jacking this one side up just a little bit, all 4 tires are still on the ground, but look how much clearance you have to be able to slip that new spacer in. You can get a 2-inch, maybe even a 2.5 or 3 in there, no problem. Of course, I left my shock in place because I've already taken my spacers out and the factory one's in there. But you know, at this point, you would remove those 3 15mm on the top, bolt this sucker in there, and make sure not get your fingers caught in there if something breaks. But of course I left my shock in there because I'm just testing out these Amazon spring compressors made by Shankly, but they seem to hold pretty good, and they don't even have a bite on the entire spring, just the center, and that was very easy. So if you're installing these spacers on your truck or removing them, this I have found is definitely the easiest and safest way in my opinion. And also, it doesn't put an extreme angle on your front control arms. These are, you know, they can take this kind of load. If you go off-road, and there ain't no reason why, if you went over a bump, I mean, that's within the factory travel of these trucks. All right, maybe it's a little bit higher, but it's not putting that much strain on those bushings. And the beauty is you can do one side at a time. You can see over here on the passenger side, still sprung tight. And so, you know, do the driver's side and switch over and do the other side. And it actually only took me like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to take these spacers out. The first time I did it, taking the wheels off and all that, I was here for like, I don't know, at least an hour, something like that. So I kind of felt obligated to make this video since I think I steered a few people wrong the first time. But of course, like I said, you can do this without the spring compressors, but in my opinion, it's a decent, good investment to get this kit off Amazon, even if you use it one time and then return it. I mean, heck. And just for the record, I'm not saying that these are rated for a heavy-duty truck spring. However, they did hold up and not bend or anything. The Harbor Freight one I had before definitely bent pretty good. Let's see if I can find you that. Yeah, I mean, this thing is obviously mild steel and bent pretty good, while these are forged steel. Of course, they are made in China, so I can't say I really trust them that much. If one of these ears snapped off, you could be in some trouble. But I'm going to hold on to these because I think they performed very well, and they're going to help me in the future. This little piece got a little bent because it was in the way. And I probably didn't use them properly. You're supposed to put this safety spacer in there, but worked good for me. And again, I'll put a link for these down below. They're made by Shankly, I believe. But anyway, I didn't tell you what kind of springs they were rated for. All I can tell you is the ram spring didn't break them. Well, hopefully that helped you out. I'm going to get this thing buttoned back up. If you've watched this far and you are looking for some 2-inch leveling spacers for your ram, comment down below, and first come, first serve. If you send me, I don't know, probably $10 for shipping, I'll send these to you. So leave a comment if you want them. Give them away for free because I ain't using them. Getting dark here, so I'm gonna roll. But this is KZ Guy 2, No Nonsense, No How, and I'll see you next time. See ya.